The 30 Years' War, spanning from 1618 to 1648, stands as one of the most devastating conflicts in European history. It engulfed the continent in a maelstrom of violence, leaving an indelible mark on the political, social, and religious landscape. More than just a religious conflict, it was a struggle for power and dominance, reshaping the map of Europe. Understanding this complex conflict requires delving into the motivations of the key players, the intricacies of the battles, and the lasting consequences for the continent. The war was a complex tapestry of alliances and betrayals, with shifting allegiances and motivations. Religious tensions between Catholics and Protestants provided the initial spark, but the conflict soon escalated into a broader struggle for power and dominance. Empires clashed, dynasties crumbled, and the lives of millions were irrevocably altered. This exploration of the 30 Years' War aims to shed light on its multifaceted nature. From the initial sparks of rebellion in Bohemia to the devastating battles that ravaged the German lands, the war left a legacy of destruction and upheaval. By examining the intricacies of the conflict, we can gain a deeper understanding of its profound impact on the course of European history. The seeds of the 30 Years' War were sown long before the first shots were fired. The Protestant Reformation, initiated in the early 16th century, had shattered the religious unity of Europe. The Peace of Augsburg, in 1555, attempted to quell the unrest by granting German princes the right to determine the religion of their territories. However, this agreement proved fragile as religious tensions continued to simmer beneath the surface. The Holy Roman Empire, a vast and fragmented entity, was a breeding ground for conflict. The Habsburg dynasty, staunchly Catholic, sought to consolidate its power and reassert Catholic dominance. This ambition clashed with the aspirations of Protestant princes who sought to safeguard their religious freedom and autonomy. Political rivalries further complicated the situation. France, a Catholic power, saw an opportunity to weaken the Habsburg Empire by supporting the Protestant cause. This intricate web of religious and political tensions created a powder keg waiting to be ignited. The Bohemian Revolt of 1618 provided the spark that set Europe ablaze. The 30 Years' War erupted in Bohemia, a region within the Holy Roman Empire with a significant Protestant population. In 1618, the Habsburg Emperor Ferdinand II, a fervent Catholic, sought to curtail religious freedoms in Bohemia. This move ignited a rebellion among the Protestant nobility, who feared the erosion of their rights. The revolt began with the defenestration of Prague, a dramatic event in which two Habsburg officials were thrown out of a window by Protestant nobles. This act of defiance marked the start of the Bohemian Revolt and the beginning of the 30 Years' War. The Bohemian rebels, seeking support against the Habsburg Emperor, formed the Protestant Union. The Union, however, suffered a crushing defeat at the Battle of White Mountain in 1620. This Habsburg victory marked the end of the Bohemian phase of the war and ushered in a period of Catholic resurgence. The Catholic triumph in Bohemia emboldened the Habsburgs and their allies. The Protestant cause seemed to falter, but a new champion emerged, King Christian IV of Denmark. Motivated by a desire to protect Protestant interests in northern Germany and expand his own influence, Christian IV entered the war in 1625. The Danish Intervention initially met with success. However, the tides turned with the arrival of Albrecht von Wallenstein, a brilliant and ruthless military commander in the service of the Habsburg Emperor. Wallenstein's military prowess proved formidable, and he inflicted a series of defeats on the Danish forces. The Danish campaign ended in defeat with the Peace of Lübeck in 1629. Christian IV was forced to withdraw from the war, and the Habsburgs emerged stronger than ever. Their victory solidified Catholic control over much of Germany and posed a significant threat to Protestant interests throughout Europe. The war's momentum shifted once more with the arrival of Gustavus Adolphus, King of Sweden. A skilled military strategist and a devout Protestant, Gustavus Adolphus led the Swedish army into Germany in 1630. His intervention marked a turning point in the conflict, reinvigorating the Protestant cause. Gustavus Adolphus introduced innovative military tactics and weaponry, achieving a series of stunning victories against the Catholic forces. His triumph at the Battle of Breitenfeld in 1631 shattered the aura of Habsburg invincibility and sent shockwaves across Europe. Despite his military genius, Gustavus Adolphus was killed in action at the Battle of Lutzen in 1632. However, his legacy lived on, as the Swedish army continued to fight with determination, preventing a complete Habsburg victory. This phase of the war witnessed some of the fiercest fighting and further deepened the scars of conflict. The 30 Years' War entered its final and most destructive phase with the entry of France in 1635. Although a Catholic nation, France, under the shrewd guidance of Cardinal Richelieu, prioritized weakening the Habsburg dynasty over religious solidarity. Richelieu's strategic brilliance led him to forge alliances with Protestant powers, including Sweden and the Dutch Republic, against their common enemy. The French Intervention transformed the war from a primarily religious conflict into a geopolitical struggle for European dominance. France poured resources and troops into the fight, determined to break the Habsburg grip on the continent. The conflict spread beyond the borders of the Holy Roman Empire, engulfing much of Europe in a web of alliances and warfare. This final phase of the war witnessed intense fighting and widespread devastation. Battles raged across Germany, France, and the Low Countries, leaving a trail of destruction and suffering in their wake. The war dragged on for another 13 years, marked by brutal sieges, scorched earth tactics, and the collapse of social order. The 30 Years' War was a stage for numerous influential figures who shaped the course of the conflict. Emperor Ferdinand II, the staunchly Catholic Habsburg ruler, sought to consolidate his power and reassert Catholic dominance. His unwavering commitment to the Catholic cause made him a central figure in the war's early stages. Albrecht von Wallenstein, a military genius in the service of the Habsburgs, rose to prominence with his ruthless efficiency and tactical brilliance. His ability to raise and command vast armies made him a formidable force on the battlefield, but his ambition and independent streak eventually led to his downfall. Gustavus Adolphus, the Lion of the North, emerged as a champion of the Protestant cause. His military innovations and inspirational leadership turned the tide of the war, but his untimely death at Lutzen prevented him from achieving complete victory. Cardinal Richelieu, the mastermind behind French foreign policy, played a pivotal role in the war's final phase. His cunning diplomacy and strategic vision transformed the conflict into a struggle for European dominance, ultimately contributing to the decline of the Habsburg Empire. After 3 decades of brutal conflict, the warring parties finally agreed to peace negotiations. The Peace of Westphalia, signed in 1648, marked the end of the 30 Years' War and ushered in a new era in European history. The treaties that constituted the Peace of Westphalia aimed to address the complex religious and political issues that had fueled the conflict. One of the most significant outcomes of the peace settlement was the recognition of Calvinism as an officially tolerated religion within the Holy Roman Empire. This provision expanded religious freedom and helped to ease tensions between Catholics and Protestants. The treaties also reaffirmed the principle of cuius regio, eius religio, which allowed rulers to determine the religion of their territories. The Peace of Westphalia had profound implications for the political landscape of Europe. The Dutch Republic and the Swiss Confederacy gained formal recognition as independent states, marking a shift away from the dominance of large empires. The treaties also weakened the authority of the Holy Roman Emperor, granting greater autonomy to the German princes within the empire. This decentralization marked a significant change in the power dynamics of Central Europe. The 30 Years' War left an indelible scar on Europe, leaving a legacy of devastation and suffering that would take generations to heal. The relentless fighting, sieges, and scorched earth tactics ravaged the German lands, decimating the population and shattering the economy. The war's impact on the civilian population was particularly severe. Widespread famine and disease accompanied the fighting, further contributing to the staggering death toll. Estimates suggest that as much as 1/3 of the German population perished during the conflict. The war also led to a breakdown of social order, with banditry and lawlessness rampant throughout the affected regions. The economic consequences of the war were equally profound. Trade networks were disrupted, agricultural production plummeted, and entire regions were left in ruins. The war's financial burden crippled many states, leaving them struggling to rebuild their shattered economies. The scars of conflict would continue to haunt Europe for decades to come. The 30 Years' War had a transformative impact on the political and dynastic landscape of Europe. The Peace of Westphalia reshaped the balance of power, diminishing the influence of the Habsburg dynasty and paving the way for the rise of other powers. France emerged from the war as the dominant force in continental Europe. The weakening of the Habsburgs allowed France to expand its influence and assert its military might. The war also laid the foundation for France's cultural and intellectual ascendancy in the 17th century. The decline of the Holy Roman Empire marked a significant shift in European politics. The empire's fragmentation and the growing autonomy of the German princes within its borders led to a more decentralized and multipolar political system. This shift away from centralized imperial authority had lasting consequences for the development of Central Europe. The 30 Years' War stands as a pivotal event in European history. The conflict, fueled by religious tensions, political ambitions, and dynastic rivalries, engulfed the continent in a maelstrom of violence, leaving an indelible mark on the political, social, and religious landscape. The war's devastating impact on the German lands serves as a stark reminder of the human cost of conflict. The widespread destruction, loss of life, and economic ruin left a legacy of suffering that would take generations to overcome. The Peace of Westphalia, while bringing an end to the fighting, marked a turning point in European history. The treaties reshaped the balance of power, fostered religious tolerance, and ushered in a new era of international relations. The 30 Years' War continues to fascinate and horrify us centuries later. It serves as a reminder of the fragility of peace, the destructive power of intolerance, and the enduring consequences of conflict. By understanding the complexities of this historical tragedy, we can gain valuable insights into the forces that shape our world today.